Nasa Horgan, so she's the Green Party, and that's all going to be fibs for kind of Cabra, you know.
So, if he runs, he's not chasing those votes. He's not going after Fine Gael. He's not going after Green Party voters.
No.
Essentially, it's Mary Lou, Sinn Féin, and it's Gary Gannon in the Social Democrats.
Gary Gannon, and also Joe Costello was there, who Joe Costello isn't going to stand again. Joe Costello was there for Labour, who would have been a really...
Was there? In what seat then? In the Gary Gannon?
No, he lost the seat at the last election, but he still would have got a very strong vote for Labour. And Joe Costello's area of strength would have been the North Inner City. Okay. Gary Gannon obviously is from Sheriff Street originally, but he's standing for a lot of
support.
He does have a lot of support, but he's standing for the Social Democrats, so he would pick up votes as well in kind of fibs for Cabra. The other people that he'd be up against, Christy Burke, I don't know if Christy Burke will run again. Christy Burke has ran for years, obviously for Sinn Féin for many decades, but now he's an independent. So I mean, I think if Gerry Hutch was to run and Christy Burke wasn't, he would hope.
And there's a perfect example of what you were talking about and people getting elected. And Christy Burke, of course, was our Lord Mayor. And Christy Burke was one of the... Was he not one of the prisoners that was airlifted, or they attempted to airlift him out of Mount George Jail?
Exactly. So, I mean...
So he's a bit of a history.
Yeah, and so Gerry Hutch might hope to pick up some of his votes. Mary Lou, of course, was elected massively. I think so she got 11,000 votes, and the closest to her...
In 2020?
In 2020. The closest to her was Pascal Donoghue, who got 4,100. So she absolutely wiped them out.
Numbers,
Now, there's no hope
of
her.
Right, so what's her position? Tell us a little bit about, because it's very difficult to follow all this Sinn Féin scandals. I'm going to land that on him, Ali, okay?
What do you
mean? We need another hour to go through it all.
Yeah, they're in the shit, right?
And it's so hard to understand.
That's it, right?
Basically
we're not going to get in.
Yeah, okay, they're in the shit, right?
Okay,
time and time again, they're in the shit, okay.
So Mary Lou got, I mean, she only narrowly got elected for a couple of general elections in a row. She only got in on transfers, but the last time she got 11,000 votes. And Sinn Féin really didn't expect that, so they hadn't run a second candidate or anything. But there's no hope of her getting that this time. That was on a wave, a personal wave, and a wave for Sinn Féin. So her vote is really going to be dramatically cut, and those votes...
Is there any sort of indication of what percentage it might be cut by?
Well, I mean, so she got 35%, I think, the last time, but Sinn Féin are down. The polls in the Sunday Indo in particular will show they're down in around the early 20s, aren't they? Even lower at times.
It's been a horrendous couple of weeks for her, essentially.
So all of those votes are in play. Now, you'll have Malachy Steenson who'll run. He will.
Is he going to run? Yeah,
he's going to run.
Right. He said he's going to run.
Yeah, he's handing out leaflets
will
at the moment.
Will he run if Gerry the Monk Hutch is running?
Well, it's a different kind of thing as well. But Malachy Steenson obviously.
But they'd be going after the same voters. No?
They would. Well, to a degree, yeah. So Mary Lou's votes are up for play because she was picking up that anti-establishment vote maybe, and Malachy Steenson will definitely be strong. I mean, he Malachy Steenson's an anti-immigration. It's also, has links to, Malachy Steenson, it's openly reported, had a conviction previously in connection with an incident in the Special Criminal Court. Malachy Steenson.
He's a guy on the ground, though, isn't he?
He's a guy on the ground.
He's out talking to people right in the heartland of where Gerry Hutch would be talking to people.
But he organised all those anti-immigration protests in East Wall, so he picked up a strong vote in that constituency in the local elections. So Gerry Hutch would probably hope to pick up votes from Joe Costello, maybe if he doesn't run, Christy Burke, some of Mary Lou's, some of Malachy Steenson's.
My God, he could do really well.
Well, what is really well?
Well, I mean, 4,000 votes is really good.
Well, 4,000 will put him in. He may get elected if he gets 4,000.
These are all the kind of things he's going to have to be thinking about.
And we're not political journalists, but Niall's given us a good flavour there of what it might take.
So 4,000 is not inconceivable.
4,000 is not inconceivable at all.
I just think if he does run, which as we know he's seriously considering, if he does run, I think what's really going to be interesting is the reaction from the other people, either be them sitting TDs or candidates. I mean, like we were saying about Special Criminal Court, there's certain things politicians can say, well, the Special Criminal Court said you were in control of the weapons that were used in the Regency Hotel. And that's something they can throw in his face. But we have to look at Mary Lou. Mary Lou can't say anything.
No.
She literally can't say
what
can she say because of Jonathan Dowdall.
Yeah.
But also...
So that's what I'm fascinated to watch unfold.
Yes.
Is how she handles it if he stands in her backyard.
Well, listen, like we've talked about the reality of the situation on the ground with the votes and how we can consider that he could get elected here if he goes for it, okay? This is not something that's just, off the wall. So what are the kind of things that he needs to consider, right? With his background and I suppose with a lot that has happened to him. First and foremost, his security while he's out there looking for those votes. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, he has a gym for him, which, as probably a lot of your listeners would know, is a Garda information message, which means there is a threat to your life. Now, I know was it 2016 he got that? And I think Gardaí would say that the threat level isn't that serious anymore. But I mean, is it once you get a gym for him, you always have a gym for him.
But also, it will enrage people if it looks like Gerry Hutch is going to get elected. I mean, it talks in terms of threats.
Who would enrage
well,
who?
I mean, if it would
enrage the guards.
It would enrage the guards.
Them,
it would enrage some of the people associated with the
establishment.
Yeah, some of the people associated with the Kinnigan cartel, maybe who have personal feelings about the murder of David Byrne.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, remember, there's people have been really angered how Gerry Hutch has been presented as something different than David Byrne in particular. Like the political establishment,
the politicians would be
outraged.
Would it not be vom.com across the fucking hall?
Or will they opt to just say nothing because it's just if they. They're going to be asked, if he does run, they're going to continuously be asked to comment on it. Yeah. And the more they comment on it, the more it just kind of fuels the media coverage, which is helpful to him if he is standing.
Has to be.
He's not going to have to spend hundreds of thousands on a campaign.
On his security stuff, I think since he walked free from the special criminal court, he stayed around Dublin for quite a while. Everyone thought he was going to run for the hills, run for Spain, Lanzarote, wherever. He didn't. He stayed and he partied actually, and he went for pints locally, and he met his mates, and he walked the streets, and he regularly walked past our building here in Talbot Street on his way downtown, and he looks comfortable. He looks like a guy who will always have to watch his back. I mean, he will always have to.
You'd have to imagine that would be difficult on the campaign trail, wouldn't you? I mean, he's not going to be able to, the way normal TDs, normal politicians, when they're out campaigning, put out a press release, I will be walking around.
Oh yes, he'll maybe have to do pop-up stuff.
That's what I mean.
Will he be doing it like for the north side people? Here's Gerry Hutch with a bollard. We need new bollards on the road, or why don't we have traffic ramps?
I reckon any time he goes out to knock doors, there's going to be such a circus around him that nobody can get at him anyway.
Like he's not going to announce it. He's just suddenly going to be in certain areas doing that.
Yeah, probably.
But like you said, honestly, his personal security, that has to be a major concern for him. Does it have to be a concern for the guards? Are they, like you were saying, are members of the Byrne family, or sorry, not necessarily members of the Byrne family, but associates, are criminals linked to the Kinnigan cartel going to be like, the cheek of this lad?
I think they will.
Actually, let's try and kill him. Oh, he's going to run as a TD. Let's, these are things that have to be considered.
At the same time, I think the higher your profile, it does give a bit of, it gives a bit of protection. And of course, if Gerry Hutch is out knocking doors and there's a circus around him, there is probably going to have to be a Garda presence. Store Street are going to be busy. And where else? What other stations are in the constituency?
I suppose Mountjoy Station up near Phibsborough or Cabra even.
I think they would have to probably have a bit of a presence on the street if there's,
I think for him, I would think it's not a good idea, because you're stepping into an arena where it's not something, it's not his natural habitat.
I'm Nicola Tallant and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.